being real.
Yeah.
Man, we are all bozos on this bus, as far as, as a good friend of mine said long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Rest his soul. He's out of it. Damn him. But we got problems, and Katie and I have problems. And if you think we don't, then you're looking for gurus in the wrong place, because we ain't it. Nobody's an expert here. Oh, but I'll tell you one thing. I know a hell of a lot more than I ever dreamed I'd know. I think we've got a delicious philosophy that has been, I feel like Katie and I have worn pith helmets and, wielded machetes and chopped through the jungle of nonsense for a long time. I did, ever since I stuck my head through the membrane of so-called reality when I was 28 years old. I'm 65 now. And it's been a long, long process, much longer than I thought. And I ain't there yet. I'm not enlightened. But I think I've, and with this soulmate of mine over here, even though occasionally I find her boring, and on a regular basis I hate her guts. As a matter of fact, I hate my guts. I hate your guts, viewer. See, there are many preacher men who'll tell you that. You know what? When I'm not experiencing love for you, there's no gray area. Mm-hmm. I hate your guts. I hate you and I fear you, in that order. Once again, if you watch this show much, you've heard us say, we believe, our work says, the basis of all fear is the unknown. It's what we don't know. That's what we're afraid of. That's why death is. People say, I'm not afraid of death. Let me check with you in the ICU or the nursing home when you're on the way out. Just hang in there with you a little bit. I experienced near death once, and I was terrified. In any case, it's what we don't know that's what we're afraid of, and the basis of all fear is the unknown, and the basis of all hatred is fear. If you're afraid of something, you hate it. It's called flight fight. And if you hate something, you're afraid of it. There's something about it. Gay bashers, take note. It might be a little too close for comfort there. So the catch-22 is none of us know anything, absolutely, except something's going on. Descartes, I think, therefore I am, kind of a variation of my, something is going on at this location. That's all we know, absolutely. We live our lives floating on a sea, an ocean of fear, of ignorance, which makes us afraid, which makes us hate. That's why love is so rare. And getting in touch with that is what humility is, and that's why. And we think you can't be any humbler than nuts. That's why we pick on being crazy. We think we're crazy. And it's pretty much a matter of, I buy your act if you buy my act. I never call you on anything.
Well, that's what I was going to, when you said about this being a show, really maybe changing the show to more about getting real than about, abstract concepts. That's the word that came up for me, was act. That, we're trained to have an act, and to not just have an act, but to believe that we are our act. We live it so thoroughly and for so long without question that we forget that it's not really who we are. But, there should be, we should be given some hints, because we play the game a little bit differently depending on who we're around. When we're different to our boss than we are to our best friend in the bar. And, so most of us have multiple versions of this act, but we never take our act off. Even alone with our spouse or our lover, there's still a variation of that act going on, because we think we have to play it that way to get along. I think that if I don't put on this front, this false face, that I will be repulsive to people, because they'll see really who I am, which then you get always, Arthur says, well, who are you? And you get to that, we don't even know who we are. There's this vast ocean of ignorance under there.
But you're looking for acceptance.
That's right.
I'm looking for acceptance. We're looking for acceptance.
And that's a lot of what the act is about, is that you put together something that you think will work out there in the world, that people will accept you, that you'll be able to get along in life, you'll be able to have a job and meet somebody that you can get in relationship with and do all the things that, that the act allows you to play the game out there in the world. And that's what's terrifying is, well, what if I just stopped? How do you even do it? I mean, when I think about what I went, I was at the Y today. Was I myself? Was I my, Y act? Why, yes, as a matter of fact, which is a little bit uptight and, just, being surrounded by people I don't know and just, trying not to be, trying to have the right boundaries, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The correct YMCA boundaries. Should I look at somebody? Should I not look at somebody? I'm not quite sure what the rules are yet about eye contact in the dressing room.
Yeah, that's a confront. You're striding around stark naked.
That's right. But which is kind of one of the nice things about that situation is, there's some of the act that we have out in the world is kind of stripped away, so to speak.
So to speak. Pun definitely intended.
That's right. So it's really hard. It's hard, going around, even contemplating dropping the act. And that's what we're trying to do here is not come across like know-it-alls, like that we're gurus, or that we're, that we're sitting up on a mountaintop.
Hopefully that's been evident from show one. I know.
That's true. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought, man, people, that was one of the things.
There's nothing like a little relationship flare-ups,
that's
or,
right.
giving a hint, because everybody walks around acting like sugar or butter wouldn't melt in their mouths, like it's all smooth plastic down there.
Well, it's
like
true.
Barbie dolls, and is that acceptable to pretend like you don't have any frustrations or anger or bitterness or arguments? Everybody's just so nice and polite. So we get into trouble in a relationship. Any idiot knows to be on their best behavior when you're a courting. And once you have the real estate closing, whoops, marriage or settle down or whatever, that you dig your mutual grave together, you pull the door of the crypt. All right. That's when the not so nice, the dark side starts manifesting.
Yeah, well, you don't have to put on that level of act. That is the winning over somebody's affection act.
That's right. What did Uncle Will say? If he got married because he just got tired of holding his belly in.
That's right. And that's one of the reasons not to get divorced, is because then you have to start holding your belly in again.
No way has I will ever be able to tame that again.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what I say every time. You wind up back in the soup. So realness, sharing our suffering. It's like one of the great things about Alcoholics Anonymous. There are people who get together, they share their pain, share their stories.
Right. Share their daily struggles.
Their helplessness over a certain substance called alcohol.
Right.
Or sex. Or drugs.
Or gambling.
All sorts of addictions. How about being addicted to being nice? How about being addicted to being just so proper and prim? What was that great quote of the day? The other day it was like the greatest...
Oh, yeah. The greatest fault is not knowing you have any faults. Right.
I'm just so perfect in every way. I never think like that or talk like that.
Oh, well, that came unfortunately close to ringing true over here. I was like, what do you mean? I don't have any faults. I can't think of one. Certainly one of my faults is thinking I have no faults. I will definitely cop to that one.
Once I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken.
That's right. That's right.
Is there a psychiatrist in the house?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm nothing but faults, just flagrant shortcomings. Randy Newman wrote this great song, as a classic about a man. Yeah, baby, I've been drinking, and whatever. He goes on and on. And he says, I'm guilty. Lord, I'm guilty. And I'll be guilty for the rest of my life. How come I never do the things I'm supposed to do? How come nothing ever turns out right? Reading my mail.